Last orders at the bar, please.
Welcome to Tavern Tales. These are the adventures of The Rookies, a curated actual play of the tabletop role-playing game Masks, A New Generation from Magpie Publishing. Previously on Tavern Tales, our session 0 is over, and it's time to get into the first day for our superhero group. So, let's meet our hero.
Come sit down and drink with the enemy, raise a glass and toast to the enemy, and I'm not gonna do this on my own. So come sit down and laugh with the enemy, raise a glass and sing to the enemy, and I'm not gonna do this on my own. So I won't end up being alone, 'cause I won't drink my drink alone. So what about you? One beer or two, I'll drink to you.
Masks, Game 1.
What?
Sick. It was a pilot that got cancelled.
Aw, I hate when that happens.
We shot the pilot, right? That was session 0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mistakes were made.
I have a brother now. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Here it is, friends. The launch of our not Dungeons and Dragons form of Tavern Tales. We have decided to put Dungeons and Dragons away for a little bit, given the sheer amount of Dungeons and Dragons we've been playing over the last 3 years, the number of contents we've released. Also, I got these books for Christmas in 2019 and have wanted to run something in it for the longest time, but wanting is not doing. And so that's what we're going to be here today. You have heard our interviews with all of these player characters. You have heard and listened in on the session 0 where we explored and experienced the first time this group. This is it. This is game 1. There is no tavern-y introduction for this. This is a comic book. There is a pub. We will come to that down the road. There will be some piece of that doubtlessly instilled and inserted into this. But for the next 15 to 20 games, which is probably like 45 episodes.
Yeah.
For the next year, sit back, folks, and I will let my players.
Hi, this is Allison, and you can find me at A Landless Inferno on Twitter, but I am never there. I do have one, though. It exists. I added you. We're friends, or following, or whatever it's called on Twitter. I literally don't go on, but it exists. Anyways.
Oh, Allison also manages our Facebook group. So if you want to reach out to us there, you can find Tavern Tales on Facebook, and Allison will be your point of contact.
Yeah.
Really?
We still have to talk about exactly what you want me to do on
I
that.
already made you an admin.
I know, but you just have to tell me what you want me to do. But anyways, we'll talk about it after. So I am playing George Grady, aka the Purple Haze, and he is the Innocent, and he is from the Silver Generation, but he specifically came to the future from 1970. He is pretty short boy. So we find George in the public library. It's dark, it's at night, and this library happens to be across from his high school. And we find him sitting in front of a computer typing one finger at a time, because typing is not his thing, because computers are new to him. But we see him desperately trying to Google things and kind of thinking to himself in a thought bubble of, what is this Google's? And he's wearing his purple football hoodie, kind of like shorts you'd sleep in, like sports shorts, really loose, that go down to his knees. And he's reaching into a cylinder of Pringles and gets his hand stuck and shakes it a little bit too hard and too fast because speedster, and it flies and hits a bookshelf. But luckily the bookshelf doesn't fall over, but does make a mess. And he quickly speedster cleans it up and goes back to playing on the computer, or trying to.
Where is he?
In the public library. That's where he lives. So he lives and sleeps there. So you can kind of see he's made a little nook for himself underneath a desk so he can easily hide if the like librarian or security or somebody comes by at night, right? Because he's not supposed to be there, but he can quickly grab all his stuff and hide.
Where does he put all his stuff?
In his backpack. He lives out of his backpack. So he uses, so his backpack is kind of overfilled, but it's filled with like, luckily he has lots of hoodies because he loves hoodies. So he uses those as pillows and blankets. So underneath the desk, you can see like another purple hoodie that's kind of scrunched up and probably filled with another hoodie to be a pillow. And then another like kind of like athletic wear, like sweatpants as a makeshift blanket, just kind of laid out there for
What's
when
a
he doesn't
backpack
go
look
sleep.
like?
It is a plain black backpack, but it's definitely been worn, and you can see some of the zippers are very worn, and like, you know, they get kind of spaced out and they're about to bust. He has lots of things in purple because that was his high school's colors, and that was his football team, and he mostly wears hoodies. Yeah, but yeah, we just see him messing around with Pringles and trying to Google things.
Hello, I'm Marie Claire Gould, and I am Marie C. Gould on Twitter. I also have a very cool Star Wars podcast called What the Force, and you can check that out at WT Force Show if you are interested on Twitter. I am playing the character of Adora Smith, who is a bull playbook in Masks. And establishing, you see, as we zoom in from the city, it's a tight urban area. You can see down to an apartment building. It's an older apartment building, probably 1960s, that has been not very well upkept on the 4th floor with the side with the fire escape, classic fire escape down from that area. You actually see through one of the windows, and it's a room that has been covered in band and like media posters all on the walls. The room itself is fairly upkept except for a giant pile of laundry in a basket that's overflowing, and you see a hand reach up trying to grab like a sock or something off of the bed that has been flung in that direction as you first spot Adora in the room. Overall, you hear music being played over headphones that are over top of her ears. She shrugs on an overly large black hoodie and rolls on the bed to try to get the last sock on as she makes her way, stumbly, grabbing her backpack. It looks like she's late for something into the kitchen, seeing that there's a pile of toast and breakfast already made with a note with a little like over-exaggerated heart from mom on the little sticky note on the table. Like, obviously mom has like gotten up early and made her breakfast. She just grabs like the 3 pieces of toast to make her way out of the apartment.
Cool. There's a picture in the kitchen, and you know, one of those ones that's on a counter that's leaning there. Our camera, not our camera, but the comic book focuses on that, and we see a younger Adora standing next to a lady. What's that lady look like?
She's blonde and has long hair, but she keeps it up in a ponytail. And actually, the mom is on top of Adora's shoulder, inexplicably.
I love it.
Adorable.
Like, she's like literally like holding her little pint-sized Adora. And at the time, Adora had blonde hair as well, but now it's black.
Like her soul.
Yeah, and Adora wears accentuated black makeup and things like that, so she looks fairly goth or just punk.
Hi, I'm Aaron, and I'm still here after 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
You keep showing up.
I know, right?
Who invited him?
We don't have game without you, apparently.
Apparently. Yeah, so I'm still here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, whatever those handles may be. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm there.
Your arrow infusion.
No, you need to tell everybody about your new Twitter for this particular character.
I
so
don't
people can
remember.
follow
I
it.
do not remember what I
write it?
said.
Did you make a Twitter for that?
I didn't
Oh,
actually make it. I have to.
He has to.
Has to.
I haven't yet.
We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. I'm playing the Nova, who can do what he wants with the power that he wields without severe consequences, and he's very into himself, and that's why you see him kind of sitting in his room in the first panel. There's no birds flying around outside. He's created birds with the powers that he has in his room, so they're just kind of like flying around, leaving kind of like a little interstellar trail with like stars and stuff. You can see on the floor and on his desk, he subscribed to a lot of books and magazines, so it's like USA Today, Chatelaine, Cosmopolitan, because he's just trying to understand humans and things like that, and more ways to please his man. His skin's glowing, but it's kind of emitting from the dark clothing that he wears, because that's what he wears, and he doesn't have a fancy costume. His room's fairly clean except for all the books and stuff that he's got scattered about. And he's just laying on his...
Wait, books?
Yeah, like the dictionary, Encyclopedia Britannica, National Geographic.
Giant nerd.
He's trying to learn about society and humans
Really?
and what makes them tick. That's pretty much him. He's just kind of hanging out, waiting to go downstairs, have some grub, and then bounce out of his house that he lives in with his parents.
It's a pretty app. What's the house look like? So get a panel back from the home.
It's very plain. Very, very plain house. Couple bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, no basement, no attic.
Well, we can't see any of those things when we look at the house anyway. So it's a plain looking white house.
Yes, very inconspicuous. They don't want to draw too much attention to themselves being powerful celestial beings.
Okay.
You're like you're like the Coneheads, almost like.
Very similar.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you see Solarian's parents in the kitchen. They're cooking breakfast. His mother and father are roughly the same age, same glowing skin that he has. They're just kind of milling about in the kitchen. Bacon, eggs, toast, mushy peas, mashed potatoes, all that good stuff.
Wow. Okay. So we see them in the kitchen. What's the kitchen look like?
Tile floors, granite countertops, brand new stainless steel appliances, smart fridge. Shout out to Samsung and LG.
Jeez. He has to cut that
Please
now.
sponsor me.
Follow us.
Hey, yo, if you want to hook us up, Samsung Canada.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and he comes down and sits at a standard wooden table and gets ready to dig in for breakfast. So his mom was kind of pissed that he broke this because it was her mug, but she hands him a mug that says Sassy Gal on it and the handle's broken off. And he has a morning coffee in that. But that's the thing that he damaged recently. And she was really mad.
Broke a coffee mug.
Yeah, broke a coffee mug.
Okay, cool. You're a Nova.
Yeah, I was going to say, you broke a gym last time.
Yeah. And I deeply regret that.
Okay.
It's raining in his powers at home. Maybe their
Yeah.
house is made out of like
He
reinforced.
doesn't get to control that. Like, okay, fine. It's cool. I get to make all of those decisions then about your character's unbridled destructive power because
All right.
that is the playbook you picked.
Go ahead.
I feel like if you broke a mug, it'd be dust.
Yeah.
The handle's dust. That's why there's no handle. It gone.
Just like casually went to grab it.
Wait, do you have the power to, like, if your coffee was too cold, you could just like warm it up by
I
like
could do
holding
whatever
it?
I wanted to. I can make it into a popsicle. I can make it.
You can make and create energy and matter.
I can remake the world and do exactly what I wanted. And if your boy wants boiling hot coffee, he's going to make boiling hot coffee.
Okay.
And you look behind and the entire breakfast nook where they eat breakfast, the table there and everything, we haven't seen that angle. That's because it's gone. And the entire back wall of the house is just
Plastic
draped
sheets.
plastic sheets. And you wonder.
That was Mom's favorite mug. That's the same.
The mug was like, there's like a line that goes through the house, like a perfect line of destruction and not. And the mug, just the handle, the mug was
handle.
on the wrong destruction side.
I love it.
And his mom's like, the house? Sure. But my mug?
This is why we can't have nice things.
I was not pleased with that.
Yes. Cool.
Funny.
His parents are in their like 50s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I move from one environment to a next? Like walking down a hallway
Oh, yeah.
to
of
the small
course.
room? Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Because you're not technically walking. You'll just see panels and you just describe the panels like you would in a comic book.
Right. Okay.
Next page.
Yeah.
Literally.
That's me. And that's my Twitter handle. This is Paige, who's also been here inconsistently for 3 years. I've missed games, but I'm still here. Everything is next_Paige.
Just so you know, perfect attendance does not constitute a passing grade.
Do I have a better grade than him?
Bro, I'm barely hanging on in this.
You go fail.
It's par for the course.
So all of my social media stuff is next_Paige, except for Instagram, which is next__Paige, because next_Paige was already taken.
Was it already taken by you and then you forgot about it? And now you're like, I don't even know how to log into that account?
I don't know. I didn't check.
Wow.
I don't think so.
Let's hope not.
I don't think so. That's me. And I am playing Experiment 742, also known as XPay. I am the newborn of the group. I am learning from everything around me and my environment and my newfound friends and family. It's fantastic. Okay. The camera pans out on a section of dark, musky hallway as our newborn XPay walks down 4 steps. The tile is cold, the walls are rugged, and they've seen some years. This is in the basement of the school that XPay attends. The hallway is lined with old class photos that no longer fit in the halls above. And it's lined with that and old trophies that the school has won. And he walks along and finds themselves in front of a doorway, solid oak door with a nice gold handle, looks a little bit run down. And he goes to open the door. Bam! They forget their own strength sometimes and open the door a little too heavy. And X-Bay says, "Hey, Jeb, I've brought breakfast." As X-Bay looks down in their hands, and it's filled with a packaged pastry that looks a little bit like a strudel, but you can tell that it's not a very great quality, and another package of mini donuts covered in powder sugar, which were obviously obtained from the school cafeteria. They have a sticker on them with the school's logo on it. They hand the packaged mini donuts to their dear friend Jeb, who's over sitting in the dark, musky corner. Jeb is very weathered. He has seen a lot in his lifetime. He's probably in his 60s, maybe even early 70s at this point. He has long gray hair, pretty ratted. It doesn't look like he's ever owned a brush, and a very scruffy facial hair mixed with salt and pepper. His clothes are very tattered, just kind of sweatpants and a t-shirt. And he grabs the donuts from X-Bay. X-Bay then takes their favorite breakfast over to their little single cot, which is just basically a metal frame with a very, very paper-thin mattress with a blanket thrown over top and a hoodie rolled up in a ball at the edge. And X-Bay sits on the bed, opens their strudel package, and begins to eat.
Hi, everyone. I am Chelsea. I am playing Terry Chase. You can find me on the Tavern Tales podcast for my social medias or on Instagram at CKCreate or CKayla Model. And I am playing Terry Chase, who is the beacon. The scene opens up as Terry is tinkering with some electronics on a desk. Screwdrivers and different soldering tools are strewn about. In a rather chaotic fashion, we see some wire that's been melted, a few scorch marks on the desk where he might have left a tool on for a bit too long. As you look around his room, there is graffiti across the walls everywhere with punk posters overlaying on top. You see his favorite bands there, Blink-182, some Misfits, My Chemical Romance, and his room, despite the decor, is actually still quite tidy. Besides the desk where he's working. His bed is already made. His closet, you look around, don't see it. He gets up to go and put on his school sweater, pulls down a hook from the ceiling where all of his sweaters are on, grabs it off, and does a little tug and it shoots back up. He hears his maid call down from downstairs. He's on the loft. You see a little speech bubble in the bottom corner of the panel saying, "Terry, breakfast!" And then...
Does the line of the speech bubble come from under the door?
Yes, it does. Actually, he doesn't have a door, though. It's a fire pole.
Oh my god.
Yes!
So he's got a fire pole. All you see is Terry breakfast that's coming from the hole in the ground. There's a little ding message that comes up. And suddenly you hear this whirring mechanism and these doors open up right beside the hole. It's a little dumbwaiter and there's a plate with his breakfast on it. Very well-rounded breakfast. A couple eggs, some toast, bacon, fresh cup of orange juice. "Thanks, Murda!" He yells back down, shoves the toast in his mouth. Before he leaves his room, knowing that his parents might try and snoop around, he flips a switch, and suddenly all the graffiti, the Blink-182 poster, Chemical Romance, all that's covered by portraits and maps that come down from the ceiling. He looks around, looks like a room of a proper young lord, throws on his jacket, slides down the pole, lands with a thud, throws on his shoes, grabs his skateboard. You see the parents as he jumps on his skateboard, going down the cobbled driveway. You see his parents, his mom specifically running after, telling him to take the family car. And you see this limo that's just parked in the driveway waiting for him with the door open, and he goes zipping past. His mom is a very petite, small lady with long black hair that is braided, and she loves to wear very, very, very bright colors. So she's wearing a bright yellow blouse and bright blue pants. His dad, you can see him through the window of the house. He's sitting at the table eating his food, big glasses on his face and a bushy mustache underneath. He's in his business suit, button-up shirt, ready for his day as he goes to the office.
And he's not saying anything to Terry.
No.
As Terry leaves. On the third story of the building, there's a small circular window with the white cross in the middle of it. there's a little old lady looking down through that window in the house that you've just described, looking angry.
That's weird. Why is there somebody in my house that I don't know?
You gonna
You
die.
know who that is,
Oh, it's grandma?
of course.
Abuela.
Oh, it's
Of
my
course.
grandma.
So now we get a kind of sense as to who are the people in your character's normal day-to-day life, where they reside, where their private thoughts are largely maintained in their domiciles that they choose to live, excepting one person. So George is not the first to get to school. George is actually the last to get to school that day. Not because of anything within George's control. We'll get to that in a moment. Based on the varying distance that everyone is away from high school, you're all in grade 10, let's say. And this is a high school that is grade 9 to 13-ish. Because you know those kids that stay an extra year. So you're all not freshmen, you're sophomores at high school. Welcome to your sophomore year of high school. You are all in grade 10 and you are all attending the same school. For one reason or another, probably because when you came together, you were very close to your high school, and that's what led to you to all be here. At least 4 of you, at least. So you're all about the same age as a sophomore would be, give or take, because you're all superheroes. Your ages are largely fluid. Some of you are celestial beings that have not been here as long as that, which is news to me based on the introduction of the characters. But hey, I love it. Your celestial beings have registered you in grade 10 because that is your general appearance. Who knows? Maybe you're 300 years old, 300 galactic years old. That's up to you, and you can decide that for yourself. Some of you are not that old at all, but have the appearance of a sophomore in school. So we open up on the school itself. It is emblazoned with the Purple Hawk logo, and it is named after the superhero who had that Purple Hawk logo, who was one of the golden era superheroes and saviors of the city.
Violet.
The lavender, the mauve, the maroon. Oh, maroon's good.
The Maroon Marauder?
Maroon Crusader.
Yeah, the maroon. I was going to go with Savior, the maroon savior of Halcyon City. He didn't go by that at the time, but his color and his costume was all that rich maroon color, which is what George is wearing all the time. And any of you who have a school hoodie, it is that maroon color and purple. You see, there is no uniform in this school, but there is a lot of purple in the assemblage of students that are coming towards it. So we see the school from the front. It's got that red brick 1960s to 1980s exterior, but it has been broken and beaten and worn down so much through the years that it has a lot of big glass windows and a lot of fresh light and a lot of skylights in this school. It is 2 stories tall, and the windows all look out on a busy street with a big school bus in the front ground and a whole bunch of cars pulling up. And you can see in the bottom right-hand corner of the panel a limousine, a black limousine arriving. But who has gotten to school first?
Me?
Cool.
There already.
I'm in the basement.
Yeah. So we see a side door that says electrical, and it is partially open as XP slides into the general body of school. Your first class of the day, XP, is your favorite class of the day. What's your favorite class?
Gym. I love gym. I
And
don't love gym.
What class does Jim teach?
Boom.
Gym teaches gym.
He learns lots. Cool. You see, after a couple, the next panel is you can see XP. What are you wearing, XP?
XP is wearing one of their favorite outfits, and they are striped corduroy pants and a bright flowered collared shirt with yellow suspenders.
I love it. You can see clearly XP has moved further down the hallway towards the gymnasium, which isn't there anymore, friends, because it's only been a couple of weeks since that happened. And you can see that there's construction cranes from that side of the school, but in distance there, as XPay's walking down the corner, you can see the door opens again or doesn't quite shut. And you see Jeb come out in a janitor's outfit pushing one of those wheelie garbage cans. It's empty and looks like he's turning left as XPay heads down towards the gym. The gym has not yet been rebuilt. In the corridor, we now see Jeb coming towards us as we focus in. He's in the background of this panel. You can see Jeb, but you can now see another figure getting to school. Who is that?
That would be Terry.
So we can see Jeb is coming out the front door of the school, and he's got his wheelie garbage can and a pick, and he's picking up litter that all the students are throwing on the ground as they come in because, this is the modern day and no one gives two shits about the environment. And we see Terry getting out of the limousine, heading towards school. He's heading to his favorite class, which is
Physics 10.
Great. Cool. There's a statue in the front of the school that we can see that Terry's walking by. What's the statue look like?
The statue is of the Maroon Crusader. Is it Crusader that we say, or Savior?
Savior.
Yeah, he has a whole bunch of different aspirations and titles and whatnot that are
Well, and I
associated
was
with
going to
him.
actually ask really quickly, is the high school named like then Crusader High or Savior High?
No, it is not named anything like that. It actually might even just be named like Sam Smith High School because his name is known, but you all have the Maroon Marauders are the school team with a big purple hawk.
Okay.
The Maroon Merlins, because the Merlin is a hawk.
Yeah.
So the Maroon Merlins.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Is
Is this the school?
Because you had purple and there was a bird involved in my visioning of the logo.
Okay.
So it's a purple hawk-like logo because he went by the Maroon Merlin back in the day. That was his title, the Maroon Merlin.
So not Savior Merlin?
Yeah, I like that. But he also was the savior of Halcyon City, so people would call him the Maroon Marauder, the Maroon Savior. He had lots of different subtitles and whatnot. But you go to the most boring named school possible. It was his real name.
Sam Smith.
Sam Smith High School.
So this isn't George Grady?
George Grady goes to the school.
No, but the Maroon Marauder or Maroon Merlin
Sure.
isn't George Grady.
No.
There's another purple superhero?
There's a purple superhero, yeah.
Rude.
He flew around the city.
Sorry, I assumed you were talking about my
Nope.
future self.
Nope,
Okay.
nothing to do with that.
Okay.
We see a statue of the Maroon Merlin himself in the front of the school, Sam Smith High School. SSHS.
The statue is of Merlin taking off in a flight pose. His arm is raised up in a fist as he's shooting off. His cape swirls out from behind him and twists around the bottom of his foot. And you see him in like his knees raised, that whole takeoff position.
It's cool too because the statue isn't actually connected to the ground at all. There's like
cool.
a gap of 1.5 feet between that curling bit of the cape and the ground of it.
Physics. My favorite class now.
Exactly.
It is.
Cool. Terry, got a big backpack with you?
It's an over the shoulder book bag. It is black, and as soon as he gets out of the limo, he like hits 2 little pins on his bag and it flips down and it shows all of his pins, like his band pins, but it looked like a plain black bag at first. Like different like punk pins and like patches and stuff on his bag.
You can hear coming out of the limousine, there's a little musical note. Your memory will carry on. Other musical note in faint, small writing at the bottom there as Terry carries in. What's Terry wearing?
Terry is wearing black skinnies and a button-up shirt with a leather jacket, and his hair is styled quite nicely.
Cool. We can see in the panel that Terry sees somebody that he recognizes and knows as he looks back, and there's that look of recognition on his face. The next panel is from someone else from behind, Terry in the panel, and Jeb further in the panel as well, as you can carry on, my wayward son, all of that sequence to know this is all happening at the same time. It is...
So Solarian shows up. He's just wearing...
How do you get there?
He walks.
Okay, so he's not that far away.
No.
Excellent.
He might be far away. Yeah, no, he's not that far away. He's
Cool.
maybe a few blocks. He's just wearing dark clothes, kind of chino style pants, black hoodie, nothing else to him really. He's carrying kind of a small briefcase.
I love this character so much.
A small brief? How small?
Sorry, a regular sized briefcase that
What
he's
does that
got.
look
with him.
like?
It's a black briefcase like a businessman would have or a businesswoman with 2 golden latches with combinations on them.
I love it.
Combination.
That's what he got.
Get this sense that Solarian's part of the Men in Black.
Next panel, Solarian and Terry are standing next to each other, walking towards the school. Solarian says,
Looks like they still haven't repaired the gymnasium yet.
And that surprises you?
Well, the cranes have been there for a while. If they would get on with it, we would have a gymnasium again. We wouldn't have to be outside all the time.
Maybe don't, destroy it the first time.
It was a team effort that blew it up, if I recall correctly. But fine, I will be more careful next time.
Solarian, what's your favorite class in school?
Chemistry.
Our last panel is, of course, they're walking and talking. The last panel is in front of the lockers as the two of them open up their lockers. And we'll get back to that as a moment because we see arriving
A public school bus, which drops off.
the same public school bus that was there in the opening panel. Yeah.
Not like the yellow school bus, but just full on public, transit.
Oh, a public bus.
Yeah. Urge. And then, the back doors open and stumbling out of the bus is Adora. She's got bright hot pink headphones for some reason on, but everything else is black and is fairly somber looking, but it's all just airs, of course, because that's who she thinks she is right now.
So you said stumbling. Does that mean that there's the word trip as she comes out of the school bus?
Yeah.
The little word trip there is in the bottom as she steps on the last rung, and you can see the lines of loud music coming off of the headphones. Okay.
Her backpack looks like, maybe part of it was taken off or whatever, hiking backpack. So it just has extra space and stuff like that, but it's only half full of books or homework or whatever. And just as she falls off the bus, she catches that Terry and Solarian are walking into the school.
Yep, they're right there in the distant panel, and
she's between them or whatever and can see them off in the distance and tries to run to catch up.
Cool. A car comes down the road as you cross it illegally.
Okay. She does a little turn as the car speeds past her, and she swears at the car, throws up her hands, readjusts her backpack to try and run to catch up with Solarian and Terry.
I'm walking here.
The car is coming towards you at speed and is going to crash into you. How do you want to resolve that?
Can she hot step jump out of the way? She speeds ahead.
Sure. You can unleash your powers if you want to. Make a heroic jump with your super strength.
Sure.
Your prodigious strength. Yeah, sure. Why don't you give me a roll plus freak?
9.
Cool. On a 7 to 9, you're going to mark a condition, or you can choose to have me tell you how the effect that you've done is temporary or unstable.
Okay. I'm going to choose to mark a condition.
Okay, yeah.
And I am angry.
I love it. You're super angry.
That's fair.
Who is in the car that almost crushed you?
The vice principal. It's always the vice principal.
Oh, no.
It's always the vice principal, isn't it?
Not a great start.
What does the vice principal look like? You can see the cars focused in as Adora heroically leaps the thing. You can see the vice principal is driving. What do they look like?
So he's got a receding hairline, because I want the hairline. That'd be really mean to do a woman.
You could.
So it's just kind of like the George Costanza, basically. So completely bald on top, but hair on the sides and kind of reaches to the back as well.
So George Costanza.
Yeah, George Costanza. I was
love
just
that.
describing
That's
it for those who don't know
perfect,
George
yeah.
Costanza.
Yeah.
But it's gray hair because he's quite older. I'd say 60s. Okay. He's got a mustache as well. That salt and pepper mustache. He's a little bit heavier.
George Costanza doesn't have a mustache, but okay.
No, this guy isn't George Costanza. I just said his hair.
He looks like George Costanza now in my head. Unfortunately, you said
Sorry.
that because of the hair.
I was just trying to who else has that
His
hairline.
whole body type is now George Costanza.
Okay, he's just George Costanza. Let's
with
do
a
that.
mustache.
With a mustache.
That makes me super happy.
Okay, let's do that.
And a goatee.
I like
Is
that.
he evil George Costanza?
What is he wearing?
God awful suit that is his favorite suit that he wears every freaking day. He must have 10 copies of the same suit. It is this mustard and brown plaid suit.
Yes, George.
It goes with the purple school.
But he that suit, he used to rock it real hard in the 70s.
It's been 40 years. Invent the 70s. It's not my
I mean,
fault.
if he's in his 60s, it's 2020. That's not.
Wait, how old would he have been?
He could be 65.
I was thinking,
then he'd be
when he was,
teenager in the
20.
70s, Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay,
Like when he was
whatever
in
from
his,
the 80s. It's
80s.
the 80s,
Okay.
early 90s suit.
It
It's
still
fine.
works.
I love the color. You've given us great color. That's great. What is he driving?
He's driving an old Volvo before they were sleek. They were the square ones.
Those are my favorite.
The
but okay.
V70s?
Yeah.
Is it brown and mustard as well?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It goes with his suits.
What's his name?
Harold
Oh, yes. That's an
Nice.
excellent name.
Yeah.
Macterson.
What?
Mr.
He's got a last-
Macterson.
Miss-
Mr. Macterson.
Oh, XP saying that? Can you say that, please? Can
Yeah.
you just say it?
Yeah,
It's just
XP.
one S. It's
It's only one
fine.
S.
Yeah.
Macterson.
But it's Vice Principal Macterson, and he insists.
You have to say vice principal every time.
Vice Principal Macterson.
Oh, I love that.
Why is it always the vice principal?
I know, hey?
Yes, I'm angry.
Macterson looks at you, Adora, and what's your character's last name?
Smith.
And he says, "That's enough, Miss Smith! I want to see you crossing the roads at the right place at the right time in proper gear!" And he's trying to reduce your freak and increase your mundane. So yeah, you can either accept that change to your character's labels, or you can defend if you...
I would like to defend.
All right, then you
I
roll.
am a freak. Freaky.
So you'll make your basic move, defend, and you're going to roll plus savior.
8.
All right, and that's because your savior is...
0.
There we go. So on a 7 to 9, it costs you. You need to either expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation. But you have succeeded and you'll get to choose one. So you are not required to change your...
I actually think that she wasn't so stable when she jumped and actually like face plants into the road, basically now slamming into the gutter, which anybody that would have experienced that would have been like really beat up.
Mm-hmm.
But she like stands up and like just brushes herself off.
All right, so you've exposed yourself to danger.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know. So he says, "I've got my eye on you." As he drives past, you see the car lines drive past, the line come out. You pick yourself up from the dirt and you can choose one of these. Do you wish to add a team to the pool or clear a condition?
Add something to the pool.
Okay, cool. So let's do what we normally do at the start of every session a little early, and that is at the start of every session. And I wanted to get into this with color and vigor and get everybody established at here at Sam Smith High School. And so here's what happens at the start of every session. We are going to add a team to the pool. And team is a device that you can choose to draw from to increase your roll by 1.
Okay.
So if you roll like a 6, and you really want to get to that 7, or you rolled a 9, you really want to get to that 10, you can then take a team from the pool, and that's called taking a team selfishly. There's rules around it.
Okay.
But team is a general pool that is built every time we start a session, and anytime we enter combat, we redetermine and redistribute the team. So we've started the game with 1 team.
Anyone can take it for a +1 to something.
If they're making a roll, after you've made the roll,
Yeah.
even, so you make the decision. That's what's going to happen at the very top of every game session that we do. Now, there is another team that's added to the pool. You could have cleared that angry if you'd wanted to.
No, I want
She
to
wants
be
to stay
angry.
angry.
There we go.
It's
Cool.
better if I'm angry.
Is it?
You won't like me when
Yes.
I'm angry.
Cool. The bell rings as your character goes into the school.
Okay.
We haven't seen George Grady yet. No George Gradiness at all.
Still stuck in that Pringles can, eh?
No, I got it off.
Raise a glass and drink with the enemy. Raise a glass and sing with the enemy. And I'm not gonna do this on my own. And raise a glass and toast to the enemy. Raise a glass and sing to the enemy. And I'm not gonna do this on my own.
This concludes this episode of Tavern Tales, a curated Masks, a new generation game set in the superhero teenage world of Halcyon City. Our intro and outro music is the song Tavern Tales by the Bad Billy Band. You can find out more about the Bad Billy Band on iTunes or at www.badbillyband.com or follow them on Twitter at badbillyband. Thanks for listening. Please feel free to leave us a review on iTunes or find us on Twitter at tavern_tales. We'll be back next week with more of the adventure.